Imagine you're driving along a quiet mountain road just before sunset. Suddenly, a thick blanket of fog begins to surround your car. Visibility drops to only a few feet. Then, as the fog slowly starts to clear, an entire village appears right in front of you. Wooden houses, warm lights glowing through old windows, smoke rising from stone chimneys. People silently watching you from their front doors. The strangest part? That village has never appeared on any map. It sounds like the beginning of a horror movie. Yet stories like this have been told for generations in many parts of the world. From the misty mountains of Japan to remote valleys in China, the Scottish Highlands, and isolated roads deep within South America. Different countries, different cultures, different names, but almost exactly the same story. The fog arrives, a village appears, and when the fog disappears, so does the village.
One of the most well-known accounts tells the story of a driver traveling through a mountain pass late one evening. The trip should have taken less than an hour, but halfway through the journey, an unusually dense fog rolled in. Within minutes, the road ahead was almost impossible to see. The driver slowed down, carefully following the narrow road. Then, as the fog began to thin, something appeared, an old wooden gate. Behind it stood dozens of traditional houses lined neatly along a cobblestone street. Soft yellow lanterns illuminated the village. Thin smoke drifted into the evening sky. Several people stood outside their homes. They weren't talking. They weren't moving. They simply watched the passing car in complete silence. There were no children playing, no barking dogs, no engines, no sounds at all. The entire place felt unnaturally quiet, as though time itself had stopped. Feeling increasingly uneasy, the driver chose not to stop.
He continued down the road until the fog finally disappeared. Several miles later, he pulled into a nearby gas station and described everything he had just seen. The attendant looked confused, then calmly replied, "There has never been a village on that road." Local residents who had lived in the area for decades said exactly the same thing. No village, no gate, nothing. Curious and convinced he hadn't imagined it, the driver returned the following morning. The weather was clear. The road was easy to see. He searched for the wooden gate, the stone road, the old houses, but there was nothing. Only trees, rocky cliffs, and an empty mountain road stretching into the distance, as if the mysterious village had never existed at all. The most unsettling part is that this wasn't an isolated story. Similar reports have surfaced across different countries for decades. Drivers, hikers, even local residents.
Many claim to have seen villages that appear only when thick fog covers the landscape. Were they all experiencing the same illusion? Or could there really be places that reveal themselves only under certain conditions? Because when people began investigating these stories more closely, they discovered theories even stranger than the legends themselves.
So, what did those travelers actually see? Was it nothing more than a trick of the mind? Or could an entire village really appear only when the fog rolls in? For decades, psychologists, historians, and researchers have tried to understand stories like these. The first explanation comes from science. When visibility becomes extremely limited, the human brain automatically tries to complete missing information. It compares vague shapes with memories it already knows. This phenomenon is called pareidolia, our tendency to recognize familiar objects or patterns where none actually exist. Combined with thick fog, dim light, and unfamiliar surroundings, an ordinary group of trees or abandoned buildings can sometimes appear to form streets, houses, or even entire villages. Sound can become equally deceptive. Fog changes the way sound travels. A distant voice may seem only a few feet away. Footsteps can echo from impossible directions.
Even complete silence can create an overwhelming feeling that someone is watching.
From a scientific perspective, these effects can explain why some travelers become confused or convinced they witnessed something extraordinary. But science still doesn't explain every account, because many witnesses tell stories with astonishingly similar details: an old wooden gate, a stone-paved road, traditional houses with warm lights glowing through the windows, villagers dressed in clothing from another era, children quietly staring from behind wooden fences. And one detail appears again and again: no one in the village ever seemed surprised to see the visitor, almost as if they had been expecting someone to arrive. According to several urban legends, a handful of travelers actually accepted invitations to enter these mysterious villages. They shared meals with the locals, spent what felt like only a single evening there.
Some even remembered hearing music drifting through the quiet streets. But when they finally returned home, everything had changed. Their families claimed they had been missing for days, in some stories, weeks. It's important to remember that these accounts remain folklore and personal testimony. There is no verified evidence that such villages exist or that time behaves differently inside them. Yet the legends refuse to disappear. Japan tells stories of hidden mountain settlements concealed by mist. China speaks of forgotten villages that reveal themselves only under special conditions. Across Europe, old folklore describes ghost villages appearing at dawn before fading back into the fog. Thousands of miles apart, different languages, different histories, yet somehow the same story survives. Perhaps that's what makes this mystery so fascinating, not because we know it's true,
but because no one has ever fully explained why people who have never met continue describing almost the exact same impossible place. So, if one day you're driving through a lonely mountain road, the fog suddenly parts, and a village appears where no village should exist, would you stop to discover its secret, or keep driving, hoping you never see it again? Maybe the briefest mysteries aren't the ones we've solved, but the ones still waiting quietly, hidden somewhere inside the fog.